Yo, what's happening? What's happening? Good evening. This your girl Tiffany. I'm here live in effect. And today's topic is dealing with Black History Atlanta. So we're gonna be discussing by Antoine Graves in the Antoine Graves homes. All right, so before I get started, make sure you like and subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell. All right, so Antoine Graves' home was a housing project that was located right across the street from the Kings Memorial train station, which is model train station in Atlanta. That's on the east part of Atlanta. All right. So yeah, it was one of the housing project, but it was built for senior citizen. Okay. So that building is no longer around. It was demolished around 2008. So Antoine Graves was a principal and a realtor in Atlanta. So he was a principal at Store School and Gate City School. Okay. So Store School was started in Auburn Avenue at this church called First Congressional Church. So I think what is it called? Yeah, First Congressional Church. So that's where Store School had started right there. It started off as a private school. Then Atlanta University, come to find out, Atlanta University started out in that building at First Congressional Church. So Atlanta University started from there, and then it went on to the location where now Spelman is at, right? So it was put into that building, which is Giles Hall, okay, over there on Fair Street. But yeah, see, well, we're gonna learn that a lot of these colleges, university, started off in the church because a lot of time they were supposed to become like theological school or seminary school for people who want to become pastors, ministers, etc. And then also universities started off agricultural schools to teach people about agricultural pastoralism and all, right? So that way they can enhance their skills in doing agricultural work. All right, but I want to get into the history by Antoine Graves. The reason why I'm doing this because it's very important to know about the history of Atlanta, especially its Black history. Because since the fact that Atlanta is considered as Black Mecca, it's only fair to talk about the historical events that took place. So when people hear about Atlanta, the first thing that comes to the mind is Dr. Martin Luther King, which that is true. Okay, Dr. King was born in Atlanta and he grew up on Auburn Avenue Boulevard area. Okay, that is true. All right, and then they hear about the music scene, which that is also true. You know, the music industry is very big, and then also Tyler Perry, which Tyler Perry pretty much opened up the opportunities for many of those who want to be inspired actors and actresses and writers to get involved in the movie industry. So the movie industry is booming. Real estate industry is booming as well. Okay. And the hair industry is booming. So one day I'm gonna do a video about the Bronner brothers, right? And the hair industry in Atlanta. But let's go ahead and let's get into Antoine Graves. Who was he and what did he do? All right. So I just want to show you guys a picture real fast. This is the only picture I came across. Okay. So right here, this is a picture of Antoine Grave. That's a picture of him. Okay. That's a picture of Antoine Grave. All right. So now there's not a whole lot of information about him per se, but I was fortunate enough to come across some information on Wikipedia and some from other websites as well. All right, but let me go ahead and pull up the wiki source real fast. Wait a minute. Let me see something. Let me see. Okay, there we go. So right here, according to the source, Antoine Gray was born 1862, right? And he died in 1941. So it don't say like where he was born exactly. And it don't say if he was born of parents who were enslaved or if they were free. It doesn't say anything about that. But it say that he was a prominent Atlanta realtor, the first principal of Gate City Colored Public School, which lasted from 1884 to 1886. And he was a principal at Storrs School, the first school in Atlanta for blacks. He had his real estate offices in Kimball Building on Wall Street, a street otherwise totally occupied by whites. He brokered the deal for the sale of the land where the Georgia State Capitol now stands. So wait a minute. He brokered the deal for the sale of the land where the Georgia State Capitol now stands. So basically, he had that land where the Georgia State Capitol is at. Now that's something interesting to me. That's something interesting. I didn't even know that that land he once occupied that land where Georgia State Capitol is. So you never know. You just gotta look it up. You never know, man. This is just wow. But anyways, it says his is the only mausoleum in the black section of Oakland Cemetery, right? So I'm gonna show you his grave site. Anyways, when principal of Gate City Colored Public School, Jefferson Davis' body passed in front of the school on the way to Richmond, Virginia for burial. Schools were ordered to close that day so everyone could attend the memorial parade, but Graves refused to honor a man who fought for slavery. Graves was fired as a result of this refusal. Now, do you blame him? I don't blame him. Why would you want to honor somebody who fought for slavery? I don't blame the man. But during that time period, okay, because we're dealing with the time of slavery, right? We're dealing with the time of segregation and all of that. That was part of the whole deal. You had to pay homage. The school had to be closed down, but he refused to do so, which anybody in modern times wouldn't blame him for. But let's continue. And then goes on to say his wife, Catherine Webb, was the daughter of Sanal Calhoun Webb, born a slave in 1830, and the biracial daughter of Southern politician and mayor of Atlanta, Judge William Islard. Okay, and she's the biracial daughter of prominent Southern politician and mayor of Atlanta, Judge William Islard. Wow. So it says the Atlanta Housing Authority Antoine Gray Senior Citizen High Rise, built in 1965, was named after him. All right, so that's that. Now let's go to the high rise. Okay, so the high rise again was located on the east part of Atlanta, right? It was located in the Auburn district area. Okay, so if you ever come to Atlanta, it's right across the street. That empty parking lot, that empty space is right across the street from King's Memorial train station. Okay, so it says the Antoine building was a mid-rise public housing project intended for senior citizens in Atlanta, Georgia. Built in 1965, the building was located at 126 Southeast Hilliard Street. After sustaining tornado damage in 2008, the main high-rise and its annex were demolished the following year. So the Antoine Graves building was one of the earliest and most influential designed by architect John C. Portman Jr. It was his first atrium building and only public housing project. He adapted its atrium design in 1967 for the Hyatt Regency Atlanta, a building which brought Portman international fame. When demolition plans were announced, Portman pleaded to save the building to no avail. The building had been damaged in the 2008 tornado, and according to Atlanta Housing Authority, was functionally obsolete, and the tiny rooms and containing the acebitos. Mm. I wonder what this means. Acebestos. What is that? Let me look up what that term means. Cause never heard that term before. All right. Okay, so give me a moment. So I'm looking up this term and I never heard of it. Let me see how you say it. Oh, asbestos. Okay, so asbestos is a heat resistant fibrous silicated mineral that can be woven into fabric and is used in fire resistant and insinuating material as such as brake linings. Oh, okay. Oh. Oh, okay. So it had so many issues with heating filter and all of that. So that was one of the reasons why they tore it down. Okay. All right. So I didn't know what that was. So basically due to the tornado damage in the housing project, in that building, they just went on ahead and decided to go ahead and tear it down. And plus it was dealing with all kind of issues such as the heating filter area and things like that. So the building itself, they pretty much the city felt that it was no need to keep it. I mean, it was no need to go through the process of renovation. Might well just tear the whole thing down. So, um, yeah. So today, the building is no longer around. As a matter of fact, I can show you the pictures. Let's look at 126 Hillis Street. Okay, so let me show you guys the picture. Okay, this is what it's looking like now. This what it looks like today. Yep, that empty parking lot, this big old empty space right here. This big old empty space. This was once Antoine Graves building right over here. This big empty lot is no longer there. So, and there are a few of them that's like that, where the project was once around is no longer around anymore. So we see that with University Homes is land. From what I was told, Bankhead Court is land. Bowen Homes is land. So they're just space that's just sitting up there occupying the area. um, yeah, pretty interesting, isn't it? Yeah. So, anyways, let's get to the house that he once lived in. So he lived in a house which was located on 522 Auburn Avenue. That's right there in the downtown district. So Auburn Avenue is a historical site where there was a lot of black businesses thriving, and you had a lot of wealthy black people that lived in the area as well. So again, also Dr. King grew up in that area. So he grew up on Auburn Avenue. So the house is over there still, the house that he was raised in. So I will show you the picture of Antoine Graves' house on Auburn Avenue. So this is the house that Antoine Gray was living in. Okay, right here where I got my cursor on. If I can pull it forward. This is the house. Okay. Now, as you can see, that information right there, right over here to the left, it just pretty much tells the historical background about this house, who was staying in it before, etc. Okay. So actually, this house was belonged to another individual, okay, who was a activist. Then Antoine Gray took over the house. All right. So as you can see, it's a beautiful model. Now, homes like this back in those time periods, you're talking about around the 1900, between the 1900 and 1940s, homes like this would have been worth a lot of money. Okay. It would have been worth so much money. It would have been considered as upscale, right? But now, in modern times period, they don't make too many homes like this anymore. So you're not gonna find too many houses that's made into this shape or into this style anymore like that. So, but now this house is used as an Airbnb. So where people, if they on vacation and etc., I guess they can. I don't know how the whole Airbnb thing works, but yeah. But as you can see, this is the historical site. This is the historical location of the home and whatnot. All right. All right. So let's take a look at Storr School. So Storr School was founded at the First Congregational Church in Atlanta, right? Now, all right, so as we can see right here, this comes from the APSforgotten.com, all right? Forgotten Atlanta Public School, okay? So as you can see, this is the person that wrote the article over here to the left, all right? Go by the name of K Guess H. That's the name they go by. All right, so Storr School for Colored People or Colored Children. It was active from 1865 to 1930, and the original address was 110 Houston Street, and it was located on Sweet Auburn Avenue. Yep, so it was located on Sweet Auburn Avenue. Now, Houston Street is no longer called Houston Street. It's called John Wesley Dobb Avenue. That's what it's called now. Okay, but it says Storr School is difficult to locate on the Sanborn maps, mostly because it began as somewhat of a private school inside the First Congregational Church in downtown, right? Atlanta, originally located at Houston Street until the late 1870s. Storr School operated as a private school for African American students post Civil War. It says founded by the American Missionary Association in 1865, the Storr School got its name from a monetary gift it received from Storr's Congregational Church in Cincinnati, Ohio in the 1860s. So missionaries from both the North and the Midwest would ultimately migrate to the Storr School located inside the church to provide educational services to free slaves. The AMA maintained possession of the Storr School until around 1877 when they handed over possession to the newly minted Atlanta Board of Education at the cost of $5,000. So Atlanta University was also founded out of the same church as the Storr School. So according to this information, Atlanta University and Storr Schools was founded out of First Congregational Church of Atlanta. That's where they was founded. All right, and then see also as we go down, welcome to the Atlanta Public School System. Stories about the acquisition of Storr School by the Board of Education vary. It appears that the school was owned by the AMA, which is the American Missionary Association, right? They took possession back, then resold it to the Board of Education, but a January of 1890 Atlanta Constitution article contradicts the story of the acquisition of the Storr School. According to this article, the Board of Education voted not to purchase the Storr School after white residents protested. The article also mentioned that the school had been abandoned at this time because the American Missionary Association no longer considered the education of African Americans to be missionary work. So, according to the residents of the ward, having a Negro school in their white district would be a nuisance. Therefore, the school would have to find another location until a new location was purchased. The Storr School remained closed, right? Then it goes on to say that the AMA informed the board that if a new location wasn't purchased in time, they'll have to repurchase the school in order to continue to provide educational services to the nearby students. By the 1930s, it is reported that the Storr School had officially closed, with its students scattered about the Atlanta public school system. Some of the former Storr School students would later enroll into Gate City School, also known as Houston Street School. It was frustrating to see so little information concerning schools for African Americans in Atlanta. More in-depth research would certainly ensue. All right, so there's not a whole lot of information about Gate City School in itself. However, Antoine Grave was the principal of both of those schools, right? So he was a principal of those schools. And again, he ended up losing his job because he did not want to pay homage to Jefferson Davis, who was endorsing slavery. So they felt like they felt like he was just being too rebellious. And when I say they, I'm talking about the AMA, which is American Missionary Association. They felt like, oh, he was being too rebellious. So it was time to let him go. So he was let go because of his refusal to pay homage. All right. So that's all the information. Oh, let me show you guys the first congressional church. So the first congressional church is still around to this day. Okay, it's still around. Now, this is what the building looks like. That's what the building looks like today. Okay. And it's still around. It's still over there in Auburn Avenue District area. Okay. This is where Atlanta University was founded and Storr School was founded as well. It was founded, they both was founded inside of this church right here. Okay. So this church building is still around. All right. So anyways, that's all the information I got for you guys. Let me see. Shout out to Cat DC. Peace. Thank you for coming through. So if you all want to share this channel or share this video, you're more than welcome to do so. I hope that you guys will see the information about Atlanta history. Atlanta's Black history at that, because it's very important that we know about what our ancestors have done, what they have contributed. So it's more to it than just slavery. It's more to it than just civil rights. It's a lot of things Black folks have contributed and don't get proper credit for. Why? I don't know. But it's so ironic that the city of Atlanta is considered as Black Mecca, but not too much detail and information is being exposed about the Black people in the city and the residents and what they have contributed. So it's a lot. I mean, it's plethora of information when it comes to Black history of Atlanta. It's so much, right? But I would recommend, if anybody visit Atlanta, I recommend people to go to the Auburn Research Library, which is located on Auburn Avenue, right between Auburn and Cortlandt Street. Okay. At the beginning of Auburn, I would recommend people go down there because they have a collection of African American history, African diaspora history, just African history in general. And you can find so much great things. Now, the only difference is if you go and visit, you cannot check out the books. Okay. They have reference books, but you cannot check it out. So it's best to take notes. And they also have events where they deal with historical events about Black people in Atlanta, and not just in Atlanta, but in general. So I recommend people to check out the Auburn Research Library, African American Auburn Research Library. And they also have a YouTube channel. All right. But anyways, I got to get up out of here. Y'all have a good one. I hope y'all enjoyed it. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, share the channel, and I will come back to you guys with more information. Whatever information I gather up, I will share with y'all. All right. So peace. Be safe. Next time.